You know that feeling, right? You're in an argument, you've got all the facts, all of the data on your side, and you are still, somehow, losing. You just walk away completely frustrated thinking, how could they not see my point? Well, what if I told you the secret to winning an argument has nothing to do with fighting at all? We're going to dig into that very idea, pulling from Adam Grant's amazing book, Think Again.
This quote from Grant just nails it. It's a mistake we all make. We treat arguments like this war of attrition, right? We just want to wear our opponent down with facts. But as we're about to see, that's not persuasion, not even close. There's a much, much smarter way to do it.
And to really wrap our heads around this, let's go to a high-stakes debate that happened in San Francisco, featuring two opponents who could not be more different.
Okay, so in one corner, you've got Harish Natarajan. This guy's a world record-holding debate champion. And in the other corner, an 8-year-old prodigy named Deborah Jo Prektit, who has apparently read and remembered just countless articles. So it's this classic setup, the seasoned veteran versus the kid with all this raw encyclopedic knowledge.
And the pressure is definitely on. They get the topic and have just 15 minutes to prepare. Deborah, the prodigy, she's going to argue for government subsidies. And Harish, the champ, he has to argue against them.
So before a single word is even spoken, Harish is already in a really tough spot. Look at this. A poll of the audience shows that 79% of them already agree with his opponent, Deborah. And she comes out swinging, just citing study after study, a mountain of data. Honestly, it looks like a total open and shut case.
But then, something happened that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming.
The final vote comes in, and it is a stunning upset. Support for subsidies, Deborah's side, plummeted all the way down to 62%. Meanwhile, opposition, Harish's side, more than doubled, jumping from 13% to 30%. Think about that. He didn't just win, he convinced a huge chunk of the room to completely rethink their position.
So this is a big question, right? How in the world did he pull this off? Deborah had more facts, she had better evidence, she had popular opinion. What did Harish have that she didn't?
Well, he had a secret, a totally different way of thinking about persuasion. An approach that sees debate not as a battle to be won, but as a dance. But that wasn't the only secret in the room that day. It turns out, Deborah Jo Prektit isn't human at all. Her name is actually an anagram for Project Debater. She's a cutting-edge AI from IBM, loaded with something like 400 million articles. And while this machine could argue like crazy, it couldn't do the one thing, the one human thing that truly persuades people. It couldn't dance.
And this brings us right to Adam Grant's big idea. See, most of us, we go into arguments like it's a war. We attack, we defend, we try to score points and win. But the real experts, the master negotiators like Harish, they see it differently. For them, it's like a dance. The goal isn't to crush your partner, it's to find a rhythm, to move together, and to arrive at a new place.
Okay, so how do you actually do this? How do you turn a potential war into a dance? Well, watching Harish's performance gives us a kind of playbook with 4 key steps. Here they are. It's pretty simple, actually. 1. Find common ground. 2. Use fewer but stronger arguments. 3. Stay out of those nasty defend and attack spirals. And 4. Ask a whole lot more questions. This is literally the playbook Harish used to outdance a supercomputer.
Step 1 is all about disarming the other person. Harish started his rebuttal with this exact line. He went out of his way to acknowledge that they both cared about helping kids out of poverty. When you do that, it just signals, hey, I'm not your enemy. I'm a reasonable person trying to figure this out, just like you. You're not there to fight, you're there to collaborate.
Now this second step, it might feel a little backwards at first. Make fewer arguments. The AI, it just threw a fire hose of data at the audience. But Harish, he just focused on 2 main points. He knew something really important. A weak argument doesn't actually support a strong one. It makes it weaker. It gives your opponent an easy target to poke holes in your whole case.
And there's this perfect experiment that proves this. A university was trying to get alumni to donate. One message said it would do good for students. Another said it would feel good for the donor. On their own, each one got about a 6.5% donation rate. But when they combined them into one message, the donation rate crashed to less than 3%. Why? Well, giving 2 different reasons just sort of triggered people's persuasion defense system. It stopped feeling like a genuine appeal and started to feel like an attack.
So the third step is to avoid that toxic spiral of defending and attacking. And the fourth, which might be the most powerful of all, is to just get curious. The AI talked in declarations. Harish, on the other hand, he asked questions. Simple things like, why do you think that's the case? Or, who does this policy actually benefit? See, these don't tell people what to think. They invite people to think for themselves. And as psychologists have discovered, the person most likely to change your mind is you.
And look, this isn't just for some formal debate stage. These principles of the dance can be unbelievably powerful in our everyday lives too.
Take the story of Michelle Hansen. She was applying for a job that, on paper, she was not qualified for. So instead of trying to fight her case, she started her cover letter by acknowledging her weaknesses. She found common ground with what the hiring manager was probably already thinking. This just showed incredible self-awareness and integrity. She danced, she didn't fight, and yep, she got the job.
So, the next time you find yourself in a disagreement, maybe just try stepping back from the battle for a second. Instead of putting up your defenses, ask yourself, and maybe even ask the other person, this one simple but really powerful question. It can shift the whole dynamic from a war to a collaboration. It's the very first step in starting the dance.